What can I say for you? Jacob said with a look of emotion. You have said it yourself, I am just an old silk. I only serve you with tea and water, so I can speak for you. Sun Yukai suddenly cried and said with a mournful face, Oh my good brother, don't be familiar with me, I was just playing with you. Jacob chuckled. Don't, an old pauper dare not be your good brother. It's better for us to draw a clear line at this time. Sun Yukai knew that Jacob still hated him, and he regretted it. He knew that Orville was so respectful to him and killed him, so he didn't dare to pretend to be forceful. Looking at Sun Yukai, Orville said in a cold voice, You are on my site, and you dare to be disrespect Mr. Wilson. I don't know how to write the dead words. Sun Yukai's face was instantly pale, and his cowardly lips trembled and couldn't speak. Pointing at Sun Yukai, Orville shouted to the men behind him, Come on, pull this guy out and beat him fiercely, especially break his mouth for me. When Sun Yukai heard this, he was so scared that he immediately knelt in front of Orville and shouted, Lord Orville, I'm sorry, I didn't know Jacob was your distinguished guest. It was my fault, and I apologize to you. Forgive me, and spare me this time. He really didn't expect that Jacob's son-in-law would be such a bull. Even the majestic underground emperor of Orus Hill would become Jacob's licking dog. Just as he wanted to beg for mercy anymore, some of Orville's bodyguards immediately took a step forward, and slapped him. Sun Yukai was instantly dizzy, and then he was punched and kicked by a few strong bodyguards in front of him. He looked miserable. Orville looked at Sun Yukai coldly and said, I ask you, why are you targeting Mr. Wilson everywhere? Sun Yukai was full of blood, crying and said, I'm sorry, Mr. Orville, I was just competing with Jacob for the standing director of the Painting and Calligraphy Association, so I couldn't stop talking, please forgive me. Orville ignored him, but looked at the crowd in the private room and asked, Who is the head of the Calligraphy and Painting Association? Chairman Pei hurriedly said, Mr. Orville, next is the chairman of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. Orville nodded, pointed at Sun Yukai, and said coldly, I ask you, this kind of rubbish can also enter your Painting and Calligraphy Association. How did you become the president? Can you do it? Can you give it to me? Let him out. President Pei shuddered in fright. He was very eager to survive, and he blurted out subconsciously, I will resign tomorrow. At that time, Jacob must be elected as the president of the Calligraphy and Painting Association. When Jacob heard this, he hurriedly waved his hand and said, I can't help President Pei, I'm not at the level of a president. I'm very satisfied to be a standing director. Chairman Pei hurriedly said, Since Orville thinks you can, then you must be able to. Jacob waved his hand again and said, I'm not quite accomplished yet, I can't afford this position. At this time, Orville looked at Chairman Pei and said, Since you are the chairman, I will give you a suggestion. After a pause, Orville pointed to Sun Yukai and said, First of all, remove this product permanently. Chairman Pei blurted out, It must be. I will remove him completely tomorrow. Orville gave a hum, then pointed at Jacob, and said, Mr. Wilson has a very high level of knowledge in antique calligraphy and painting. Since he is humble and unwilling to be the chairman, you should give him the position of standing director. Do you understand? President Pei hurriedly promised, Yes, yes. I will do as you ordered from the Master Orville. As he said, he changed his face and said to Sun Yukai, Sun Yukai, I announce that from this moment on, you have been removed from the Orus Hill Painting and Calligraphy Association. And you cannot join for life. Sun Yukai's heart is desperate. To be honest, he himself does not have much ability to appraise treasures. The reason why he was able to join the Orus Hill Local Painting and Calligraphy Association was because he had spent some money to get this place. Usually he relied on the membership of the Calligraphy and Calligraphy Association to scam everywhere, thinking that being a standing director would be more convenient for him to defraud money, but he did not expect that he would be permanently removed because he offended Jacob. However, he dared not express any dissatisfaction. After all, the coercion of Orville was placed here, and he could not bear it anyway. Just when he had accepted his fate, Orville looked at him and said in a cold voice, "Don't you think you have a good identity? I will arrange a place for you that can best highlight your identity." With that, Orville ordered his guard, "Carry him away, find the dirtiest pig farm, and let him live with the dirtiest old sow for a week. This week, he eats, drinks and sleeps. Stay with the old sow. What the pig eats is what he eats, where the pig sleeps where he sleeps. I want him to feel what is super VIP treatment." Sun Yukai's complexion changed drastically, he was scared to death in an instant, and his heart was desperate. Let him live and sleep with the old sow, but also eating pig food? 2FC King disgusting, right? Let's not talk about how dirty the environment in the pigsty is, just talk about the smell of the old sow, which is nasty and smelly. If you let yourself sleep with her, it will make you sick. Besides, the pig food is full of leftovers. Due to the lack of air circulation and the sultry temperature, it will be rotten within a few hours. How can the body that has been pampered and maintained for many years be able to hold it?